Wait a minute, did you know that the judge who was actually trying to block Trump's tariffs is married to a prudential executive? Yeah, judicial corruption seems to be running rampant these days, but I'd like to hear about what Caroline Levitt had to say in this situation, and then get a little bit into the juicy details as to them effing around and finding out. So here we go.
It also seems there's not much of an actual coordinated effort from this White House to take and tackle this effort from judges, Democrats and other people using these judges to stymie the agenda. Is there an actual effort by this White House to tackle this issue in a comprehensive way? And if so, what is it?
There is an effort by this administration to tackle these rogue judges and the injunctions and the blockades that we have faced in our broken judicial system.
And I just need to point out, it is so weird to me. It is so fascinating that every other president is allowed to put up tariffs except for Trump. And also tariffs have just been a part of trade for literally since before the United States government. Just tariffs are a thing that have always existed in some form or fashion. And it is so silly to me as well that we're pretending that these tariffs are not in response to other places giving the United States ridiculous tariffs. So what we are trying to do is actually make it so that the tariffs are fair for everyone, not just be the only people doing tariffs. So we're literally the only people whose country is not allowing us to charge tariffs.
In every case. We have seen time and time again these lower district court judges ruling against this administration in the president's basic executive authority and powers. And this
and in multiple circumstances, and she is very right here, against his basic presidential powers. The president has a couple of basic powers, right? And obviously this is one of them, and it is just silly to me that Trump is being railroaded in so many different areas, but let's continue.
The administration is fighting every single one of those battles in court, including already the block that came down from the tariff court, the IEPA court last night. And as on my way out here to the briefing room, I understand that there was another district court judge right here in Washington, D.C. who ruled against the president's tariff power. And I will get to the heart of your question, and I'm glad that we are addressing this in the room today, because nationwide injunctions ordered against the first Trump administration, Trump 1.0, account for more than half of the injunctions issued in this country since 1963. And President Trump had more injunctions in one full month of office in February than Joe Biden had in 3 years. And let me roll through some.
Does that tell you a lot about what's going on in this country?
Some of these radical injunctions to paint the picture for the American people at home. These are not just talking points. These are real judges in the court of law who are trying to block the president's power and the policies that he was elected to enact.
These are literally judges. These are the people that we pay to pass judgment. That is their job, is to pass judgment, and we can't even trust them to simply do that job, which is unbelievable to me. But we have got some breaking news on top of things, as after she was talking about it, we have found out the spouse of the judge who's ruling against Trump's tariffs has internal corporate ties that benefit from ruling, raising concerns over judicial corruption and conflicts of interest. You see, in a controversial ruling yesterday, Judge Timothy Reif of the U.S. Court of International Trade, USCIT, was one of 3 judges on the panel who struck down tariffs imposed by Trump's administration, igniting a firestorm of criticism over judicial overreach. And we're going to get to the proof here in just a minute after we read through a little bit of this, okay? However, the most damning aspect of the ruling went completely unnoticed by the media. Lumered Strat, has exclusively uncovered evidence of a judicial corruption and conflicts of interest that benefit the spouse of Judge Reif. That's interesting. The decision, which slashes cost for imported good, directly benefits the financial empire tied to Reif's wife, Desiree Green, a high-ranking executive at Prudential Financial Inc., raising serious questions about the impartiality of the judiciary. Green, who serves as vice president of the internal affairs of Prudential and director of AFP Habitat, a Chile-based pension fund in which Prudential holds a 40% stake, wields significant influence over the global trade policies. Advocates for open market align seamlessly with Reif's rulings, and that serves her corporate interests while padding the couple's financial portfolio. A powerhouse in insurance investment relies on stable trade condition to bolster its international operations. This is where it gets big, including a substantial stake in AFP Habitat, which manages pensions for nearly 2 million clients across Chile, Peru, and Colombia. Now, the decision to dismantle Trump's tariff, which has driven up costs for goods entering the U.S., that is true, but it is not Trump's fault that the government has been so unwilling to take care of our own finances for the people. So unfortunately, that's just how it has to be. It's going to hurt at first as we have to make ourselves better. I don't know how to say it other than that, right? We are taking the vaccine. We're making ourselves a little bit sick to get better. It sucks. It does, but it's necessary. That's just how it is. And so as a way to hold other nations financially responsible for illegal immigration, exploitation of foreign aid, and again, just to keep things on the clear, it's because everyone else is tariffing us. High tariffs strain the global company supply chain, particularly its technology and financial service distribution, while also threatening the profitability of AFP's habitat investment in Latin America. Remember, these are places in Latin America where these types of tariffs are affecting things. By axing these levies, Reif has stabilized trade flows, paving the way for economic growth in the region, growth that fuels pension contributions and swells AFP Habitat's returns, directly benefiting Prudential 40% ownership. Green's role at Prudential delegitimizes the ruling of her husband participated in, which reeks of judicial corruption. I actually agree with this. Now, what's really fascinating as well as we click through these, there is all of the evidence that we need to see. All of the financial evidence, the benefits, what times, and things like that as to explain how very convenient it is. Desiree Green right there. And then looky who Timothy married in 2002. Very fascinating, Tim, isn't it? Now, the lobbyist focused on shaping U.S. and international trade policies. Greens navigates complex regulations for Prudential's global reach, and basically, because it is now, and here the ending here tells it all. It's worth noting Prudential stock rose 2% following the tariff rollback by the Judicial panel yesterday. The tariff rollback, not the tariffs themselves. For Judge Reif and his wife Desiree Green, the ruling translates to tangible benefits as their livelihood is tied to Prudential's. Let me do that again. For Reif and his wife Desiree, the ruling translates to tangible benefits as their livelihood is tied to Prudential's success. And finally, we have got it just in that the courts have reinstated Trump's tariffs after all of this BS. So thankfully, things are looking a little bit better, but that is what is going on in the world and in the US right now. Things are getting a little bit crazy. Tell me what you think, my friends. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.